Welcome to the weekend. Yes, we have 2 days worth of baseball action to dive into. And yes, I'm not going to waste your time and bog you down with a ton in each game. We're going to bounce around and do everything we can. We have the leans, which sometimes aren't always leans. We have the locks, which sometimes aren't always locks. But we have it all here for you. That's the best part of coming together on the weekend, knowing that you're not let down and you don't have this gap that you need, this void, if you will, full or filled with some other activity, like, being out with your family or paying bills or anything else irresponsible like that. We want you here, subscribed. We want you a part of it. All right. Thumbs up. You know the drill. If you haven't subscribed to our Odd Shopper channel, I don't know what you're waiting on. This whole thing is brought to you by Bet365. 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let us begin. I told you, we're not going to go too crazy on a lot of this stuff. We're just going to go under 8 with our first play. It's going to be the Yankees and Rays. Big thing here is Shane McClanahan going up against Nestor Cortez. We think there's a good angle. The only real thing that jumps out, maybe that McClanahan walk rate, but you're dealing with a guy with a 31.4 K rate. Same thing with Nestor Cortez, 24.2 K rate. And both of these guys are successfully, and McClanahan to a greater extent, successfully pitching to contact. So we've got a good spot to open up with this total at 8. And you can shop around, make sure you're looking. But it's pretty good for me to open up in this game and not try and push much with this total other than, look, I think I would lean Yankees, even though that McClanahan is pitching on the road. I don't think we have to take a side. I think we can just look at this total and know that this is a pitching, at least the pitcher should dictate. We move on. Detroit, YRFI. You may see this again. You may see this pop up. Not going to shy away, whatever it is, from this shit. All right, there's value on the board. Maybe Odd Shopper finds it. Maybe I find it, what have you. We're going to play this. So we've got Alex Faedo versus Bryce Miller. Two guys that you probably haven't seen pitch much at all this year, right? Going up against two teams that, if you're just looking at K avoidance or if you're looking at slugging, it's not going to be, I think, a ton of runs that you're going to get in the first inning, but we only need to go over one. And I'd just target more so the pitchers here. So we just need one team to get us one run against two guys that just have not been stretched out nearly what you would like to go against this. So I don't think that the unknown benefits either pitcher here. In fact, I think it benefits the offense. I think it benefits the two top ends of these lineups, including Detroit, mind you, where the strikeouts may not be as evident as you believe. All right. Miami hosting Cincinnati. Shout out to Graham Ashcraft, who destroyed all parlays for me and a bunch of people on the Discord last night. Not fun. I don't like when shit like that goes down, and I don't think you do either. Here's the thing. We're coming right back. Shop this number. Shop it. It's probably sitting at 6.5, 7. It's probably sitting at 7. Doesn't mean you can't get this at 6.5. Nick Lodolo versus Sandy Alcantara. What? Okay. Both guys, great when it comes. Well, not even great anymore. That K rate is way back to human level at 22 for Sandy. But the walk rate, you're not going to get a lot for either one of these guys, 6% each. Big thing is just how many Ks are you getting from Lodolo before things come off the wheels? 7 runs between these two guys, where I think a lot of this is just namesake. I don't see Nick Lodolo mowing down every single Miami batter, keeping this like a 1-0 game. In fact, Alcantara is probably primed to get ripped, as we've seen just a different side, shade, what have you, of him this year. And I'm still going to get in, knowing that it's going to move to 7 most likely. I'm getting in. This is a lock. Over 6.5 in this game, without a doubt. Now, Minnesota hosting the Cubs. We're going to take the run line behind Joe Ryan. That's mainly what we're doing first and foremost, is tailing Joe Ryan in this game. Now, look, this guy is just a fucking beast. If you are going to get him, you're going to crush a mistake. That's essentially what you're hoping for. Joe Ryan whatever it is, like pitching to contact, the K rate's 27.8. The walk rate is just non-existent, below 4, really 3.5. It doesn't happen much at all, and definitely not in bunches. Ryan should be in complete control of this baseball game. And that's what we're betting here. And Minnesota on the run line at minus 168 may be a big ask, but that's a decent number when you look at what he's going up against. And it's not even so much as Hayden Wesneski as it is, and, you know, no K rate there, 16% at best. But you can get some Ks in this Cubs lineup too. Ryan is not going to be blasted. It's going to be a mistake. Like maybe Ryan gives up a solo shot because you can hit the shit out of a mistake because he's throwing so hard. This is not a strategy. And you may get an 0 for. I'd predict like 0 for 4, maybe an 0 for 4 night for Patrick Wisdom, something like that. There's strikeouts to be had. Galore, dare I say. Just saying, dare I say. That's all. Here we go. I told you. YRFI. You know what I love about this play? That we're getting runs early. No, of course we are. Keep an eye out on this. Say whatever you want. I ripped this shit right from OddsShopper. This one I did take right from OddsShopper, and ain't no shame in my game. I'm giving you something here. I'm giving you value because the YRFI play on FanDuel at the time was the best play across the market. Now, what we're doing is targeting both Trevor Williams and Joey Lucchesi. Lucchesi, as he's mentioned in Bayonne here. Trevor Williams on the other side, nothing. Neither one of these guys are successfully pitching to contact. You have both lineups, like Washington. How about Washington? For regular time guys, like regular guys out there, everyday guys, if you will. That's probably the better way to put it, right? You're not getting a bunch of strikeouts. You're going to have to pitch to these guys. You're going to have to pitch to Garcia, Ruiz. You're going to have to pitch to these guys. And it's not even so much that they're not drawing walks as they're just not striking out. I think it's going to be really difficult. Lucchesi, I mean, again, that's the matchup problem that he has. And the Mets, this is not something that they should struggle with early, at least with Trevor Williams. He's not going to walk a bunch of guys, but even a mistake puts one guy on the bag and then things kind of just steamroll a little bit. So we go YRFI once again. I wonder if this does pop back up. We're going to go over 8 here in Baltimore. Pitching matchup, some hitting, some good. I think it's also a matter of not just the pitching matchup as far as like the two guys and who's the better pitcher, but in specific terms here of going over 8, the fact that there are some good matchups. Now, Pittsburgh has a lot of volatility in this lineup. Baltimore has a lot of Ks in this lineup. So you're going to need help. Rosie Contreras is going to need help. Ronzi, pardon me. Wells is going to need some help. Hey, man, that slugging percentage just ain't going to fly against Wells. Strikeouts, 20.7. Not great. Contreras, even worse. So you've got a chance here for both of these guys to just not take advantage of any small opportunities because they're not great pitchers and just get rocked. Somebody's going to get moved out of the building, and it's just a matter of time. I don't know if it's Contreras. I don't know if it's Wells, but Contreras, 18.7 K rate to a 11.4 walk rate. Inexcusable. And while Wells may be treading water with a 20.7 K rate, it's not one that you think can be activated so much against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can still hit him, as we've seen multiple teams hit him. We go to Toronto. Blue Jays, now this is where it gets interesting. Atlanta on the run line, plus 152. There's going to be value here, ladies and gentlemen. We want to jump on this. Bryce Elder is in the house, specifically Toronto's house. Jose Barrios, on the other hand, this is a bad matchup for Barrios. Look, we already know that Bryce Elder is probably going to have to stretch a couple more innings or an inning or so to get to a K prop, something like that. I would stay away. I would. But the other element here is Jose Barrios. And while they're at home, Toronto, how difficult of a matchup it's going to be for the Jays against this Braves lineup. You're not going to be able to rely on that 24.6% K rate. You're probably going to have to avoid some walks, which is okay, but now pitching to contact does not favor Berrios. So at -1.5, we actually have them coming out and winning this game more so than anything. And that's why I think at +152, that's certainly worth a shot. Now, Angels coming back late in this game, forcing something last night. Let's look at this big picture here. We don't care about last night. We don't care about Friday's games. We care about Saturday. We care about pitching matchups. We care about specifically Detmers versus Quantrill. And Quantrill with that 12.4 K rate, you better believe that he is living and dying off contact. Does that really sound, again, you're going to have to get a couple by right now against this Angels team. And that's maybe the best way or the only way you can neutralize. You ain't going to strike these guys out a lot. Mike Trout's the main culprit here. So you're going to have to pitch at, around, to contact, what have you. Ohtani, Rendon, Renfroe even. Maybe there's something there as far as Quantrill's success that we've seen. Hard hit balls to contact. It's been working for him. Cleveland was in control of this game before salvaging that lead or squandering. Same thing. Not great. Not great. But we like the specific matchup for Quantrill here. And that's why we'll go with the run line. Okay, we'll come back to Cleveland because it's -176. So you're going to need another one, is my point. You're going to need another one to run this parlay with. Let's keep it moving. We will come back. Oh, a total of 10. Look at that. A high total of 10. I guess we're going to get things are going early. Just a little early, right? I love it. So let's go here. And what do we have? Matz versus Sale. So Steven Matz is probably going to be the biggest culprit or the one that you'd like to bet on, in this case against, right? Or on, I guess, because we're going YRFI. Steven Matz going to give up a run. It's just a matter of time. He is not good, and he is masking, barely able to mask a 20.4 K rate with other stuff where it's like, if he can't get that working, which is not great, and to be fair, Sale's got a 28.1, so at least there's some stuff working there for him a little bit. But, and that's usually where, okay, we get the obvious one wrong, we get the not so obvious one right, but who cares? As long as we get one of them right, we're fine. But Matz is just getting pushed around. Whatever batters want to do, just dictating at bats. That's not somebody that I'm going to count on getting out of this first inning. In fact, I think he's giving up runs before they get to the second. Now, anything we get off Sale happens to be a bonus. I love when that works. YRFI, yes, there'll be a run in the first inning for St. Louis and Boston. Let's move it on. This was the rain out, right? This time we bounced back with the game, at least. White Sox on the run line. I don't have a lot on this one from, as far as like outside of the obvious. You want to roll with Brandon Bielak versus Dylan Cease. Knock yourself out. Doesn't mean that Dylan Cease is Dylan Cease of last year or that you can't hit him or anything like that. That would assume the ultimate positive by my point. It's just Bielak doesn't have it. He hasn't been stretched out yet. And there are some strikeouts for Dylan Cease here. Yordan Alvarez, Hensley, Julks, Abreu to a lesser extent, but Jeremy Pena, you can. Maldonado, if he's catching, yeah, you got a little bit here, a little uncomfortable. Did I mention Jake Myers, right? These guys have strikeouts in them. This is, for a guy in Dylan Cease who has been struggling to consistently pitch to contact, this is a really good matchup where he can rely on what he does best, which is strike people out. Savvy, we're good. Like I said, not a ton. Cease, great matchup for him. Let's keep it moving. All right. As I mentioned, we had that one earlier, right? This was earlier. Cleveland, run line parlay. This is the second piece of it. Milwaukee on the money line. All right. You're going to add these two together. We're going to roll with the Brewers, who just have the better matchup across the board. They have the better pitcher. It's not any, yeah, it is a knock on Zach Greinke. But Adrian Hauser just getting back into things. Adrian Hauser, no matter what small capacity of sample size that you have, is just better than Zach Greinke. Like the one thing I would bet from a player prop standpoint would be under walks for Greinke. I don't know anything else from this. This is a disgrace when you look at, ultimately, when you look at the problem between these two teams and the gap between these two teams from a pitching standpoint is you don't have enough with Adrian Hauser, but man, they're just the better team. Milwaukee being the better team. Being able to push around Zach Greinke there. Guys that draw walks, which may counter Greinke's low walk rate. Oh, by the way, you don't have a ton of Ks in this lineup either. Just so you know, you don't have a ton in there. I think this is a great matchup for the Milwaukee Brewers bats. And that's what's going to fuel them to victory on the money line. That's why we keep that second piece. Arizona, wow. This is what, our fourth yes run first inning? Now, you got Zach Gallen out here, so don't go crazy. Don't go nuts. I don't want you going home and thinking, oh, my God, what's happening? But Desclafani was just pushed in the face. It was one of those pushbacks. But Zach Gallen, 33.9 K rate to a 3.2 walk rate? Are you fucking kidding me? Like all of these guys who just throw gas and are successful, super successful at doing it, for the most part, you're not going to get around on them, but every now and again, a mistake. Now, the reality is Zach Gallen's probably not going to make a mistake in the first couple of bats, but if you are going to get to him, it would be this start. And that's a theme for YRFI. So we'll introduce this a little more on the leans and locks. That's a theme, which is that when you see an ace, when you see a top gun, your best bet is to get at him in the first 3 at-bats as opposed to the second or third time around when this dude's already cooking. Anthony Desclafani is disgraceful. 18.8 K rate. Who cares how low the walk rate is? He gets nothing. He's going to be giving up, I'm sure, a run, if not more. And then on the flip side, you just have that rare opportunity where maybe you can really get to Zach Gallen. Oakland on the money line. We keep this thing moving, man. Moving. Oakland on the money line. And you know what we're going to roll here is JP Sears. John Gray, there's nothing necessarily wrong with John Gray. We're just not going to count on that low K rate 17-3. JP Sears, sneaky. Tough to get that ball out of the park against him. Tough to get around that 24-7 K rate. Just starting to get a little dangerous. He has that built-in 5.2 walk rate. There aren't going to be a lot of guys on Texas, either patient or talented enough to take advantage of Sears. Plus 138 at home. I'm absolutely going to take a crack at this for all of those reasons that I just laid out. And I think you should too, especially because this thing's going to move. We're not smart in the sense of solo smart. Other people are going to pick up on this too. So as they do, I'd at least like you to get in. Okay. Coors Field. What do you want? Right? Coors Field, this is the epicenter of offense. That no matter how low of a scoring game you have, first 3, 4, 5, what have you, it's only a matter of time before somebody gets some runs. Now, that's at 11.5, and I'm not necessarily certain, part of me, that you're going to get upwards to that. But from a pitching matchup, and we just saw this with Walker and Gomber, this is it. This is Ranger Suarez on the hill. And I think you've got a really good shot here to get to Feltner if you're the Phillies bats. And I think Suarez is going to hang on. We like Suarez. This is about Ranger Suarez continuing to build back and Ryan Feltner getting punished by Phillies bats. Walk rate is absurd. You've got some guys that are pretty decent. Even Schwarber, as much as that K rate is vile, Even Schwarber can draw some walks. Now, you get one or two other guys here that just happen to put it together against this game, and that's going to compound mistakes, absolute mistakes by Ryan Feltner. This offense in Philadelphia, technically playing in Colorado, does have the ability to get around. Bryce Harper back and all that. We end with the Phillies. Lock it up on the money line. Simple stuff, right? Right? All right. We appreciate you rolling with us. Big time, really. On your way out, I'd ask that you click below. You know the Bet365 stuff is there. You can join the Discord. We would really love it if you join the Discord. Half off your first week. Linquist is there. Ben is there. Isaiah is there. I am there. Look, it's one thing to smash away 30 units, multiple parlays, but the community, the lack of ego, the ability to just hang, to talk, to ask questions, to throw your own plays out, parlays, all of that's here for you. And we want this to be your community. And it's truly awesome when we smash some tickets. But you know what? You being a part of our community is more important because it's no ego. It's fun. It's fun. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.